Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Red Path. Today, Dara and I are going to give our thoughts on what we think World Eaters are going to play like in 10th edition, which is coming very, very soon. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good man. Good. Pretty excited now. We've got a whole lot of stuff coming out, a lot of information hitting us potentially next week in terms of
Mm-hmm.
data sheets and detachment
Yes.
rules, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting time, I think.
Yeah, we are very much on the hype train here. Super excited. Like I said, there's so much information just out of reach for us. Oh, we can't quite get it. All the Space
Tantalizingly
Marine players,
close. Yeah.
even Death Guard and Eldar and Imperial Guard players, they've had a lot of data drop. We just haven't. Um,
Yep.
but it's coming soon. So we're going to kind of talk about what we think the World Eaters playstyle could be, what we hope based on the information we know, and what we can kind of guess based on what we know of World Eaters, how they're going to play, some thoughts about what we're looking forwards to, some kind of tactical tricks we may be looking to include in our lists to maximize the shortcomings of a combat army. So, Dara, what do you think our overall play style is going to be? Just from what we know, obviously.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Fast, I think,
Yeah.
is probably the operative word here because I mean, reading into it, as only you could do, having published a video on it this week. But we have all the potential keywords for certain units, and we've seen that things like Invocatus and the eight bounds are potentially getting scout, which is pretty big in my
Yeah.
opinion. The main reason I think it's like really big is because it means that potentially we don't actually have to take Invocatus to get the pregame move in the eight bound, and that they'll all just get it. Which means like the threat area that you have with those eight bound, it's not centralized around one character from the get go. Like they can just really like boom out. It
Yeah.
also means that you can do the eight bound rush alongside Angron, which is probably going to be quite filthy. And I predict that to be the very popular initial sort of easy meta list that people are going to
Mhm.
bring for the world leaders, because it's kind of like has that like kind of home comfort of like, oh, it worked in ninth, so it'll probably work in
Yeah.
10th. However, I think as it evolves, it's going to actually change into a much slower list. This is my big brain prediction, but I can see the actual mobility being reduced in favor of durability and sort of a more mechanized infantry approach.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of people are kind of going to hop on that train immediately because of the Land Raider and stuff, which I think is probably actually going to be a very big factor for us. And I predict a lot of lists having at least one Land Raider and probably two Rhinos as a complement. And I think Terminators as well are going to be fairly considerable, not as guys inside the Land Raider, more as units to bring in, like a big 10-man unit of
Yeah.
Terminators into a rune with Rapid Ingress. Could be really, really good. So, in my opinion, it'll start off being very, very fast, and then it's going to kind of get reined in a little bit into a more kind of durable but reliable sort of format, I think.
No, I 100% agree. My initial thoughts myself on what I'm going to make sure I'm ready to run, just based on what we know, is kind of a Rhino rush. Because there is still a prevalence of non-line of sight indirect shooting. It's everywhere.
More than ever before, I would
Yes,
say. Yeah, the
it's
Marines have a foul amount of it,
yeah.
and easy
Eldar
access.
are going to be a problem. Death Guard are going to be problematic with it.
Yep.
Everyone, almost every army is going to have access to it. Any army that has any kind of shooting aspect is going to have it. We know that, and it's going to be run. If you're playing any level of game, you're going to run into it because it will certainly be in the competitive environment. And you go to pick a friendly pickup game, you know, Tau players are going to run crisis suits because it's such a Tau unit.
Yeah,
Tech
Imperial
Guard are
Guard
going to
players are
run.
going to have basilisks
Yeah,
and things like
it's
that.
it's just part of the game.
Yeah.
So I do think having transports is going to be absolutely necessary, and obviously utilizing deep strike and so forth. Um, but I am thinking based on what we know and the units we have access to, just what we're going to have: 8-bound berserkers, a few HQs, and hopefully some of the CSM stuff remains as well, like predators and land raiders and whatnot. I am
I
seeing,
guess based on the website, we know that we probably have predators and land raiders,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the predator looks
The
it looks
Predator does
good,
look
man.
decent.
It
Yeah, I know
does
we
look
was
good. I think.
briefly
Yeah.
talking about that in Discord, and I do like the autocannon version now
Yep.
more than the las cannon. I don't mind las cannon sponsons, but I think I'm just going to go for the heavy bolter and autocannon
Really,
Predator.
I was
Yeah,
actually going to lean towards the autocannon and last cannon
yeah,
sponsons myself.
I
Yeah,
saw that. It will depend on points and stuff, but
of course. Yeah.
like, because this is feeding off your big brain thoughts earlier on, that weakening several squads to try and battle shock them to prepare us for a charge, so we're just not afraid of interrupts and things like that, I think is going to be a key strategy we have to adapt as World Eaters players. Or even weakening certain big threats, like if you're going into a Dark Angels army and they've got a big block of Terminators or whatever, you're going to want to battle shock. Well, okay, I don't think Dark Angels do battle shock, but
They oh no they
they
do get
do.
battle
But they
shocked.
retain
Their
objective
OC is
control
only
one.
reduced by one instead
Yeah,
of going to
so
zero. Yeah.
yeah, we can still get it, so they can't use interrupt and things like that. But I think that's
Mm.
just going to be a general strategy. Um, I do hope there's enough points for me to run 3 or 4 rhinos, a land raider or two, Angron, lots of berserkers, and a couple units of 8-bound, because
I
I
think
just want it
yeah, I think
all.
there will be.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be cutting it close, but I think having that mechanized aspect, having Angron being able to hide or deep strike, um, and the 8-bound scout move is always such a powerful thing. And
Very, very powerful.
people are going to have it in their heads that 8-bound must die. Like, oh my god, it's 8-bound. They're going to, but that a couple of units of scout move, yes, they're going to be expensive mind games, but they can also, I don't know, I just like that aspect. Like you mentioned, people were thinking about, oh, this is how it worked in ninth edition. I'm thinking going back to pre-Codex ninth edition of the holding back, holding back, holding back, and then releasing in like the waves of pressure. That's kind of how I'm thinking. And I
Yep.
also
Yep.
want Angron to give Predators reroll hits in the shooting phase.
I mean, he does.
Well, from
We
turn
know.
two, yeah,
We know, which is hilarious.
yeah.
It's like it's as if like GW is somehow a fan of the Red Path, and they're like, how can we show the Red Path that we actually watch their videos in like the weirdest way possible?
Do you want to know what will confirm that? If
Tell me.
Khorne has an aura, 6-inch aura of reroll wounds. Just not in the fight phase, just reroll
Just
wounds.
reroll wounds.
Yeah.
Then we
So
know. Yeah. Yeah.
Angron and Khan,
If you
3
thought Out
land
of
raiders,
Moment was
3
good.
predators. Oh god, that'd be such a meme. It'd be
You
great.
know, then I can understand the justification behind taking away forge rolls specifically from the world eaters. Because
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
imagine the fire
Oh
base?
my god, 3 Volt Tempters
Yeah,
with that. Oh boy.
yeah.
But
Oh, screw Volk Tempters. At that point, I'm bringing in Fell Blades and
yeah,
things like that.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
No,
our
it's
own
it's
at the
interesting.
moment. But yeah, I think there is enough information available, and more so based on other armies information, like the Marines,
Yeah.
like the out of line of sight meta. I'm certain we're going to be dropping into,
Yep.
which
Yep.
can guide us more so than what we do or don't know. We can have a vague idea, I think. Like you said, I think we are going to be speedy. I think we're going to be infantry based. The idea will be to be infantry based. Obviously combat focused. Um, I think we're going to have a lot of stuff like, I'm sure the Master of Executions, once attached to a squad, is going to give them precision or
I think
re-roll
in
hits.
my mind, so he will have precision, and
Yeah,
he will give his squad a free heroic intervention move.
yeah, I could
I
see
think that's
something
kind
like
of
that.
how that's going to be his like his ability to other people, and then his
Yeah,
own weapon will have precision. I think
yeah,
so.
I can
I
see
could see
it.
that being quite good actually.
Yeah,
Especially in Marines who
yeah,
from my reading of it, heavily rely on the existence of characters in squads. So if you can
yeah,
kind of have a couple of guys come in and just chop off the head, rhinos can hold 12 now as well. So you can have
yes.
a real meaty berserker squad with a master of executions in there as well.
Hmm.
it's things like this that kind of have me interested, for sure, for sure. But I think there's also weird things like that we just can't possibly predict. But like, imagine if the Mauler Fiend is good, or
Yeah.
imagine if the Helldrake is good.
Helldrake, yeah.
The Helldrake, in my mind, if it's good, is a fantastic resource for going in and taking out indirect fire positions, especially for
Of
things like
course.
Imperial Guard or for things like
Even
Desolation Marines
Desolators, yeah.
or
Desolation.
even decannon platforms. They're not
Yeah.
very tough, so if the Helldrake is good, I don't know. Maybe there's an avenue there where it just kind of comes in from reserve, Bale Flamers, some indirect stuff, or maybe it just has a good stat line. And then if the Mauler Fiend is good, it could have that rule like the Soul Grinder has, where it can actually move over terrain that's like
Yeah.
less
Four
than
inches. I
four
think
inches
it's
or
four
something like
inches,
that,
yeah.
which would be huge,
Yeah.
and like we just can't possibly even predict how much that would warp the world eaters meta, the world eaters like
Yeah.
concept of a good list, if those units which we never before really kind of thought of or gave real
Yeah.
consideration to, if they suddenly become very good, then it kind of flips everything on its head.
Hmm. Yeah, we're just missing too much information on our side of it to
Yeah.
know exactly where our lists will go. Because yeah, Hellbrutes could be superb. Who knows? Like we've got our blessings of Khorne or whatever the hell they're called now, where we get an extra move for the entire army. It just makes so many more units that have more valuable or
Yeah.
have more value. Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm looking forward because we're at that stage. We don't know everything. We don't know enough. But I can just see, like I'm thinking in a month's time at my next RTT or something, my army is just going to look completely different to what I've been playing. I'm
Yep.
just so hyped for that.
I It's like in my mind I'm like, we're this close to being able to write a list, and
Yeah,
that's what really gets me. I'm like, I just really want to kind of sit down and be like, what's the first list going to look like? And
yeah,
even things like Demon Allies is like huge because
yeah,
there's no restriction on those now. And the Bloodthirster data sheet looks amazing, as do
yeah.
Fleshhounds, and even a Khorne Soul Grinder or something like
Hmm.
that, could be really good. So there's like so many things that I'm like, I need to kind of explore this immediately. Even Juggernauts look so good now, just going in and battering people with mortal wounds in the charge. Like there's a host of different things which I'm like, okay, how's this going to kind of play out, and what's
Yeah,
the cost benefit analysis here? But I still think, and it's not even that it's necessarily going to be the best play, but that people are just going to gravitate towards that 8 bound rush in
yeah,
the get go, because they'll see it as a way of kind of getting around all the things that sort of slow down your movement, and also simultaneously being something that they have and that is painted,
hmm,
and then is quite easy to apply on the battlefields without that much thought involved.
yeah, yeah. I definitely agree. I think we'll see the initial set of lists be very similar in conception to what has been good. Um, but I'm far more excited to see what the lists look like um, in about 2 months' time.
Around the
As
time
they
of the
get
LGT, I think that's when
yes,
things are
yeah,
going to get spicy.
yeah. Me, you, and Jack probably bringing three wildly different things.
I'll be bringing demons. Jack will be
Oh,
bringing
you
white
are bringing the
scars.
demons to the
No, not
LGT?
to the
Okay,
LGT.
fine.
Not to
I
the
was going to say,
LGT.
man, come on, come on.
Imagine though, just rock up. By the way, here's Bellicor and his invisible army.
Yeah. God damn, you fooled my triple predator plan. I do hope I can bring triple predators to the LGT.
Me
I'll be
too,
so
man. I have my two like Dimos Predators that I've never really gotten to kind of
yeah,
take in any capacity. And I said it earlier this week. I said I have a good feeling about the Predator, and then
yeah, you
that data
did.
sheet came out. It came out on Friday,
Yeah,
and I said, I told you guys, I told you,
yeah.
it's not bad.
It's
I'm not
not
sure,
bad at all.
not sure if it's good, but it's not bad.
I mean, put it like this, is probably going to be the best shooting unit we've got. So
Realistically,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
probably.
Points
Although,
will tell us
like the
apart.
big thing for me, and I think this is the sleeper. Like everyone's talking about the Land Raider, and they're like, "Oh, the assault ramp, the assault ramp, the assault ramp." Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely a phenomenally powerful rule. But like in my mind, what's actually going to carry the Land Raider into viability is the fact that if you tag it in combat, which used to be the way to shut it down, you can just shoot out of combat with it now. Like
Yeah,
you're not shutting down the Land Raider anymore, which specifically for us, an army that wants to drive the Land Raider into the middle of the board and deposit guys, not having the fear of like this massive 200 plus point tank with heavy firepower just being shut down by like a couple of Imperial guardsmen touching it.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that now. Actually, what we can kind of have is like this mobile firebase that just gets into the middle of the board, deposits the guys, and then continues to fire and put down damage, which for me is actually like probably the sleeper hit for the Land Raider.
And he drives over you on fours now with 8
Yeah, it
attacks, I
does.
think, and a
It's
bunch of melee buffs as well,
it's
probably. So,
quite good. Yeah, I mean that with lethal hits now or
yeah,
anything like that. It's
going to
just
be
so funny.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that kind of is enough of our predictions because, we're not going off any new unknown information here. We just kind of wanted to have a little chat about what we think, how we're preparing for.
Yeah, this is preempting a whole bunch of different discussions coming
Yeah.
up next week about
Yeah.
the actual information as we get it.
Yeah. So definitely make sure you subscribe and all that stuff because we do have plans, a schedule for when the data sheets drop in a few days, depending on when this video uploads, when the points drop, stuff on the day of release on the 24th. And we've got stuff scheduled for all that. We've got to record it yet because we haven't seen the data sheets, but we have plans and we're going to have a lot of stuff dropping where we give our medium brain thoughts on everything. So I know
it's going to be real exciting.
Yeah, I think
busy week ahead. Busy week ahead.
Yeah, busy times. Yeah, you want to walk us out of here, Dara?
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much for hanging out for this one, folks. It was brief, but it was good, I think. And as always, if you want to catch more of the Red Path, check out all the links in the description. We have Twitch, we have Patreon, we have Discord, a whole host of other stuff. Make sure you check it all out. It's all good. And until the next one, folks, I've been Dara. It's been Jamie. Stay healthy, stay safe, and kill may burn.